Okay, so yes, we are now streaming live to YouTube. Welcome. My name is Paul Sugarman with the Instant Shakespeare Company, and today we're very excited to be presenting a special from the Shaw Project, where the Shaw Project will present Shaw and W.S. Gilbert Take on Shakespeare, which will be a reading of The Dark Lady of the Sonnets by George Bernard Shaw, and then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern by W.S. Gilbert. And so over to you, the head of the Shaw Project, David Cedar.
Hello. Yes, this was a quick switch because we had a problem with what we were going to do originally. This is Shaw's little bit about Shakespeare and also Gilbert. W.S. Gilbert, I have to say, didn't care much for Shakespeare, but that was his right, I guess. Anyway, we're going to start with Shaw's Dark Lady of the Sonnets. And the scene is a terrace at the Palace of Whitehall at the turning of the century from 1599 to 1600. It's overlooking the Thames, of course. The palace clock is chiming 4 quarters and strikes 11. There is a beefeater on guard, and a cloaked man approaches. Stand. Who goes there? Give the word.
Mary, I cannot. I have clean forgotten.
Then cannot you pass here? What is your business? Who are you? Are you a true man?
Far from it, Master Warder. I am not the same man 2 days together. Sometimes Adam, sometimes Benvolio, and anon the ghost.
A ghost? Angels and ministers of grace defend us.
Well said, Master Warder. With your leave, I'll set that down in writing, for I have a poor unhappy brain for remembrances. Methinks this is a good scene, with you on your lonely watch and I approaching like a ghost in the moonlight. Stare not so amazedly, but mark what I say. I keep tryst here tonight with a dark lady. She promised to bribe the warder. I gave her the wherewithal, 4 tickets for the Globe Theatre.
Plague on her, she gave me 2 only.
My friend, present this tablet, and you will be welcomed at any time when the plays of Will Shakespeare are in hand. Bring your wife. Bring your friends, bring the whole garrison. There is ever plenty of room.
I care not for these new-fangled plays. No man can understand a word of them. They're all talk. Will you not give me a pass for the Spanish tragedy?
To see the Spanish tragedy, one pays, my friend. Here are the means.
Oh, gold. Oh, sure, you are a better paymaster than your dark lady.
Women are thrifty, my friend.
'Tis so, sir. And you have to consider that the most open-handed of us must e'en cheapen that which we buy every day. This lady has to make a present to a warder nigh every night of her life.
I'll not believe it.
Now you, sir, I dare be sworn, do not have an adventure like this twice in the year.
So, villain, wouldst thou tell me my dark lady hath ever done this before? That she maketh occasions to meet other men?
Now the Lord bless your innocence, sir. Do you think that you are the only pretty man in the world? A merry lady, sir, a warm bit of stuff. Go to. I'll not see her pass a deceit on a gentleman that hath given me the first piece of gold I ever handled.
Master Warder, is it not strange, a strange thing, that we, knowing that all women are false, should be amazed to find our own particular drab no better than the worst?
Not at all, sir. Decent bodies, many of them.
No, all false. If thou deny it, thou liest.
You judge too much by the court, sir. There indeed you may say of frailty that its name is woman.
Prithee, say that again. That frailty, the strain of music.
What strain of music, sir? I'm no musician, God knows.
There is music in your soul. Many of your degree have it very notably. Frailty, thy name is woman. Thy name is woman.
Well, sir, it is but 4 words. Are you such a snapper up of unconsidered trifles?
Snapper up. Oh, immortal phrase. Oh, this man is greater than I.
You have my Lord Pembroke's trick, sir.
Like enough. He is my near friend. But what call you his trick?
Making sonnets by moonlight. And to the same lady, too.
No.
Yeah, last night he stood here on your errand and in your shoes.
Thou too, Brutus! And I called him friend.
'Tis ever so, sir.
Oh, 'tis ever so, 'twas ever so. Two gentlemen of Verona, Judas!
Is he so bad as that, sir?
Oh, bad. Oh, no. Human, Master Warder, human. We call one another names when we are offended, as children do. That is all.
Aye, sir, words. Mere wind, sir. We fill our bellies with the east wind, sir, as the scripture hath it. You cannot feed capons so.
Oh, a good cadence, by your leave.
What manner of thing is a cadence, sir? I've not heard of it.
A thing to rule the world with, friend.
You speak strangely, sir, no offence. But at like you are a very civil gentleman, and a poor man feels drawn to you, you being as 'twere willing to share your thought with him.
'Tis my trade. But alas, the world, for the most part, will have none of my thoughts.
Here comes your lady, sir. I'll to the t'other end of my ward. You may take your time about your business. I shall not return too suddenly, unless my sergeant comes prowling around. 'Tis a fell sergeant, sir, strict in his arrest. Good end, sir, and good luck.
Oh, strict in his arrest. Fell sergeant. Oh!
Out, damned spot! You will mar all with these cosmetics. God made you one face and you make yourself another. Think of your grave, woman, not ever being beautified. All the perfumes of Arabia will not whiten this Tudor hand.
All the perfumes of Arabia. Beautified. Oh, a poem in a single word. Can this be my Mary? Why do you speak in a strange voice and utter poetry for the first time? Are you ailing? You walk like the dead. Mary?
Mary? Who would have thought that woman to have had so much blood in her? Is it my fault that my counsellors put deeds of blood on me? Fie! If you were women, you would have more wit than to stain the floors so foully. Now hold not up her head so the hair is false. I tell you yet again, Mary is buried. She cannot come out of her grave. I fear her not. These cats that dare jump into thrones, though they be fit only for men's laps, must be put away. What's done cannot be undone. Out, I say. Fie, a queen and freckled.
Mary, I say, art asleep. Oh.
Where am I? What art thou?
I cry you mercy, I have mistook your person all this while. Methought you were my Mary, my mistress.
Profane fellow, how do you dare?
Oh, be not wroth with me, lady. My mistress is a marvellous proper woman, but she does not speak so well as you. All the perfumes of Arabia, that was well said, spoken with a good accent and excellent discretion.
Have I been in speech with you here?
Why, yes, fair lady, have you forgot?
I have walked in my sleep.
Walk ever in your sleep, fair one, for then your words drop like honey.
Know you to whom you speak, sir, that you dare express yourself so saucily?
Oh, not I, nor care neither. You are some lady of the court, belike. To me, there are but two sorts of women, those with excellent voices, sweet and low, and cackling hens that cannot make me dream. Your voice has all the manner of loveliness in it. Grudge me not a short hour of its music.
Sir, you are overbold. Season your admiration for a while with a little...
Season your admiration for a while.
Fellow, do you dare mimic me to my face?
It is music. Can you not hear? When a good musician sings a song, do you not sing it and sing it again till you have caught and fixed its perfect melody? Oh, season your admiration for a while. God! The history of man's heart is in that one word, admiration. Admiration. What was it? Suspend your admiration for a space?
Very vile jingle of S's. I said season your admiration.
Oh, season. I season. Plague on my memory, my wretched memory. I must e'en write it down. Yet tell me, which is the vile jingle? You said it very justly. Mine ear caught it even as my false tongue said it.
You said for a space. I said for a while.
For a while. Good. And now, be mine, neither for a space nor a while, but forever.
Odds my life, are you by chance making love to me, knave?
Nay, 'tis you who have made love. I but to pour it at your feet. I cannot love a lass that sets such a store upon an apt word. Therefore vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman. No, I've said that somewhere before. Ah, the wordy garment of my love for you must be fire new.
Talk too much, sir. Let me warn you, I am more accustomed to be listened to than preached at.
Ah, the most are like that do talk well. But though you spake with the tongues of angels, as indeed you do, yet know that I am the king of words.
King?
No less. We are poor things, we men and women.
Dare you call me woman?
What nobler name can I tender you? How else can I love you? Yet you may well shrink from the name. Have I not said we are poor things? Yet there is a power that can redeem us.
Gramercy for your sermon, sir. I hope I know my duty.
It is no sermon, but the living truth. The power I speak of is the power of immortal poesy. For know that, vile as this world is, and worms as we are, you have but to invest all this vileness with a magical garment of words, to transfigure us and uplift our souls till earth flowers into a million heavens.
You spoil heaven with your million. You are extravagant. Observe some measure in your speech.
You speak as Ben does.
And who, pray, is Ben?
A learned bricklayer who thinks that the sky is at the top of his ladder, and so it takes him to rebuke me for flying. I tell you, there is no word yet coined, no melody yet sung that is extravagant and majestical enough for the glory that lovely words can reveal. It is hearsay to deny it. Have you not been taught that in the beginning was the Word, that the Word was with God, nay, that the Word was God?
Beware, fellow, how you presume to speak of holy things. The Queen is the head of the church.
Now, you are the head of my church when you spake as you did at first. All the perfumes of Arabia. Can the Queen speak thus? They say she playeth well upon virginals. Let her play so to me. I'll kiss her hands. But until then, you are my queen, and I'll kiss those lips that've dropped music into my heart.
Unmeasured impudence! On your life, take your hands from me!
Then cease to make my hands tremble with the streams of life you pour through them. You hold me as a lodestar holds iron. I cannot but cling to you. We are lost, you and I. Nothing can separate us.
We shall see that, false lying hound, you and your filthy trull. Take that, both of you.
High treason!
Will, I am lost. I have struck the Queen.
Woman, you have struck William Shakespeare.
Mary, come up. Struck William Shakespeare, quotha. And who in the name of all the sluts and jades and lighter loves and fly-by-nights that infest this palace of mine may William Shakespeare be?
But, madam, he is but a player. Oh, I could have had my hand cut off.
Be like you will, mistress. Have you bethought you that I am like to have your head cut off as well?
Will, save me. Oh, save me.
Oh, save you, a likely saviour on my royal word. I had thought this fellow at least an esquire, for I had hoped that even the vilest of my ladies would not have dishonoured my court by wantoning with a base-born servant.
Base-born? I? A Shakespeare of Stratford? I, whose mother was an Arden? Base-born? You forget yourself, madam.
Splud, do I so? I will teach you.
In God's name, anger her no further. It is death. Madam, do not listen to him.
Not were it e'en to save your life, Mary, not to mention mine own, will I flatter a monarch who forgets what is due to my family. I deny not that my father was brought down to be poor and bankrupt, but 'twas his gentle blood that was ever too generous for trade. Never did he disown his debts. 'Tis true he paid them not, but it is an attest to truth that he gave bills for them. And 'twas those bills in the hands of base hucksters that were his undoing.
The son of your father shall earn his place in the presence of the daughter of Harry the Eighth.
Oh, name not that inordinate man in the same breath with Stratford's worthiest alderman. John Shakespeare wedded but once. Harry Tudor was married 6 times. You should blush to utter his name.
Will, for pity's sake.
Excellent dog.
How know you that King Henry was indeed your father?
Zounds, now by...
He will have me whipped through the streets. Oh, God, oh, God.
Learn to know yourself better, madam. I am an honest gentleman of unquestioned parentage and have already sent in my demand for a coat of arms that is lawfully mine. Can you say as much for yourself?
Another word, and I begin with mine own hands the work the hangman shall finish.
Oh, you are no true Tudor. This baggage here is as good a right to your own royal seat as you. What maintains you on your throne of England? Is it your renowned wit, your wisdom that sets not the craftiest statesman in the Christian world? No, 'tis the mere chance that might have happened to any milkmaid, the caprice of nature that made you the most wondrous piece of beauty that the age has seen. That is what hath brought all men to your feet, and founded your throne on the impregnable rock of your proud heart, a stony island in a sea of desire. There, madam, is some wholesome, blunt, honest speaking for you. Now, do your worst.
Master Shakespeare, it is well for you that I am a merciful prince. I make allowance for your rustic ignorance. But remember that there are things which be true and are yet not seemly to be said. I will not say to a queen, for you will have it that I am none, but to a virgin.
It is no fault of mine that you are a virgin, madam, albeit 'tis my misfortune.
In mercy, madam, hold no further discourse with him. He hath ever some lewd jest on his tongue. You hear how he useth me, calling me baggage and the like to your majesty's face.
As for you, mistress, I have yet to demand what your business is at this hour in this place, and how you come to be so concerned with a player that you strike blindly at your sovereign in your jealousy of him.
Madam, as I live and hope for salvation, I'm as like to be saved as thou that believest not, save some black magic of words and verses. I say, madam, as I am a living woman, I came here to break with him forever. Oh, madam, if you would know what misery is, listen to this man that is more than man and less at the same time. He will tie you down to atomize your very soul. He will wring tears of blood from your humiliation, and then he will heal the wound with flatteries that no woman can resist.
Flatteries? Oh, madam, I put my case at your royal feet. I confess to you, I confess much. I have a rude tongue. Yeah, I am unmannerly. I blaspheme against the holiness of anointed royalty. But, oh, my royal mistress, am I a flatterer?
I absolve you as to that. You are far too plain a dealer to please me.
Madam, he's flattering you even as he speaks.
Huh, is it so?
Oh, madam, she is jealous, and heaven help me, not without reason. Oh, you say you are a merciful prince, but that was cruel of you, that hiding of your royal dignity when you found me here. For how can I ever be content with this black-haired, black-eyed, black-of-eyes devil again, now that I've looked upon real beauty and real majesty?
He hath swore to me 10 times over, the day shall come in England when black women, for all their foulness, shall be more thought on than fair ones. Deny if thou canst. Oh, he is compact of lies and scorns. I am tired of being tossed up to heaven and dragged down to hell at every whim that takes him. I am ashamed to my very soul that I have abased myself to love one that my father would not have deemed fit to hold my stirrup. One that would talk all the world about me, that will put my love and my shame into his plays and make me blush for myself there, that will write sonnets about me that no man of gentle strain would put his hand to. I am all disordered. I know not what I am saying to your majesty. I am of all ladies most dejected and wretched.
Oh, at last sorrow hath struck a note of music out of all ladies most deject and wretched.
Oh, madam, I implore you, give me leave to go. I am distracted with grief and shame.
No, no more. Go. You have been cruel to that poor fond wretch, Master Shakespeare.
I am not cruel, madam, but you know the fable of Jupiter and Semele. I could not help my lightning scorching her.
You have an overweening conceit of yourself, sir, that displeases your queen.
Oh, madam, can I go about with the modest cough of a minor poet, belittling my inspiration and making the mightiest wonder of your reign a thing of naught? I have said, not marble nor the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive the words with which I make the world glorious or foolish at my will. Besides, I would have you think me great enough to grant me a boon.
I hope it is a boon that may be asked of a virgin queen, without offence, sir. I mistrust your forwardness, and I bid you remember that I do not suffer persons of your degree, if I may say so without offence to your father, the alderman, to presume too far.
Oh, madam, I shall not forget myself again. Though, by my life, I could make you a serving wench, could I make you a serving wench, neither a queen nor a virgin should you be for so much longer as a flash of lightning might take to cross the river to Bankside. But since you are a queen, and will none of me, nor of Philip of Spain, nor no other men, I must e'en contain myself as best I may, and ask only for a boon of state.
A boon of state already? You're becoming a courtier like the rest of them. You lack advancement.
Lack advancement? By your majesty's leave, a queenly phrase.
Your tables begin to anger me, sir. I'm not here to write your plays for you.
You are here to inspire them, madam. For this, among the rest, you are ordained. But the boon I crave is that you do endow a great playhouse, or if I may make so bold as to coin a scholarly name for it, a national theatre, for the better instruction and the gracing of your majesty's subjects.
Why, sir, are there not theatres enow on the Bankside and in Blackfriars?
Oh, madam, these are adventures of needy and desperate men that must, to save themselves from perishing of want, give the sillier sort of people what they best like. And what they best like, God knows, is not to their own betterment and instruction, as well you may see by the example of your churches, which must needs compel men to frequent them, though they be open to all without charge. Only when there is a matter of a murder, or a plot, or a pretty youth in petticoats, or some naughty tale of wantonness, will your subjects pay the great cost of good players and their finery, with little profit to boot. Now, to prove this, I will tell you that I have written 2 noble and excellent plays, setting forth the advancement of women of high nature and fruitful industry, even as your majesty is. The one, a skillful physician, and the other, a sister devoted to good works. I have also stole from a book of idle wanton tales 2 of the most damnable foolishnesses in the world, in which one of the which a woman goeth in man's attire and maketh impudent love to her swain, who pleaseth the groundlings by overthrowing a wrestler, whilst the other, one of the same kidney, showeth her wit by saying endless naughtiness to a gentleman as lewd as herself. Now, I have written these to save my friends from penury, yet showing my scorn for such follies and for them that praise them, by calling the one as you like it, meaning it is not as I like it, and the other much ado about nothing, as it truly is. And now, these 2 filthy pieces drive their nobler fellows from the stage, where I indeed cannot have my lady physician presented at all, she being too honest a woman for the taste of the town. Therefore, I humbly beg your majesty to give order that a theatre be endowed out of the public revenue for the playing of those pieces of mine which no merchant will touch, seeing that his gain is so much greater with the worse than with the better. Oh, thereby you shall also encourage other men to undertake the writing of plays who now do despise it, and leave it wholly to those whose counsels will work little good for your realm. For this writing of plays is a great matter, forming as it does the minds and affections of men in such a sort that whatsoever they see done in show on the stage, they will presently be doing in earnest in the world, which is but a larger stage. Of late, as you know, the church taught people by means of plays, but the people flocked only to those that were full of superstitious miracles and bloody martyrdoms. And so the church, which also was just then brought into straits by the policies of your royal father, did abandon and discountenance all the art of playing. And thus it fell into the hands of poor players and greedy merchants that had their pockets to look to and not the greatness of this, your kingdom. Therefore now I must, your majesty, take up the good work your church hath abandoned and restore the art of playing to its former use and dignity.
Master Shakespeare, I will speak of this matter to the Lord Treasurer.
Oh, then I am undone. For there never was a Lord Treasurer that could find a penny for anything over and above the necessary expenses of your government, or save for a war, or a salary for his nephew.
Master Shakespeare, you speak sooth, yet cannot I in any wise mend it. I dare not offend my unruly Puritans by making so lewd a place as the playhouse a public charge. And there be 1,000 things to be done in this London of mine before your poetry can have its penny from the general purse. I tell thee, Master Will, it will be 300 years and more before my subjects learn that man cannot live by bread alone, but by every word that cometh from the mouth of those whom God inspires. By that time you and I will be dust beneath the feet of the horses, if indeed there be any horses then, and men still be riding instead of flying. Now it may be that by then your works will be dust also.
They will stand, madam. Fear not for that.
It may prove so. But of this I am certain, for I know my countrymen, that until every other country in the Christian world, even to barbarian Muscovy and the hamlets of the Boorish Germans, have its playhouse at the public charge, England will never adventure. And she will adventure then only because it is her desire to be ever in the fashion, and to do humbly and dutifully what so she seeth everybody else doing. In the meantime, you must Content yourself as best you can by the playing of those 2 pieces which you give out as the most damnable ever writ, but which your countrymen, I warn you, will swear are the best you have ever done. But this I will say, that if I could speak across the ages to our descendants, I should heartily recommend them to fulfill your wish. For the Scottish minstrel hath well said, that he that maketh the songs of a nation is mightier than he that maketh its laws. And the same may well be true of plays and interludes. And now, sir, we are upon the hour when it better beseems a virgin queen to be abed than to converse alone with the naughtiest of her subjects. Ho there! Who keeps ward on the queen's lodgings tonight?
I do, an't please your majesty.
See that you keep it better in future. You have let pass a most dangerous gallant even to the very door of our royal chamber. Lead him forth, and bring me word when he is safely locked out, for I shall scarce dare disrobe until the palace gates are between us.
My body goes through the gate into the darkness, madam, but my thoughts follow you.
How? To my bed?
No, madam, to your prayers, in which I beg you to remember my theatre.
That is my prayer to posterity. Forget not your own to God. And so good night, Master Will.
Good night, great Elizabeth. God save the Queen.
Amen.
They exit, she to her chamber, he in the custody of the warder, to the gate nearest Blackfriars. Curtain.
Well done, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was great.
Let's take a break of
Thanks, Paul. It was fun.
Yeah.
until 20 of.
Okay. So about 7 minutes or 6.5 minutes.
Do we see,
But yeah.
do we see Bill anywhere?
Yeah, Bill is here. He's been here since the beginning.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Seven.
Hey, Bill. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you all. So yeah, we got a few minutes. If anybody, if you attendees, if you've got anything you want to say, or I can promote you to panelists, just raise your hand. Otherwise, I just want to sort of go over what's happening with Instant Shakespeare in this point. So we're doing. We're going to be doing a reading of Julius Caesar on the Ides of March and on Zoom. And then we're going to be doing a reading of Julius Caesar back in person at the Yorkville branch of the New York Public Library on next Saturday, March 19th. And so that's very exciting to be doing that, to be getting back to in-person readings, but we will also be continuing with Zoom. We're open to ideas about when to have the Zoom readings, because at least like initially, I mean, I would want to not have them conflicting with the live readings to encourage people to go to the live readings. I know some people feel they don't want to do live readings yet, but we'll be happy to just do things as they evolve, because part of the things in terms of doing it at the New York Public Library for this point is that we have to wear masks at all times. The only time that it says you can't wear masks is when you're eating and drinking. And since you're not supposed to eat and drink in the library anyways, you know, you're supposed to wear it at all times, except when you're drinking water and things. And I know, I mean, David was talking earlier about how challenging it has been rehearsing in masks. And we may sort of play around with having other kinds of masks, such as see-through masks, you know, so that people can see, but we do have to wear masks. All the participants have to be vaccinated, and we have to maintain social distance. But fortunately, I mean, as there are other problems in the world, things with COVID so far still seem to be going in a much better direction, where I feel that it's reasonable to do this. And so that's what's happening. And yeah, this was really terrific hearing the Dark Lady and this sort of thing where it's like, yeah, Shakespeare, he didn't come up with all those lines. It was the BEEFEATER who came up with a bunch of them, and he just stole them from, he just was picking up what other people were saying.
But we all also don't know who helped Shakespeare write his plays.
Yeah, no, we don't. And I mean, and that is also one of the things, because Shakespeare has been so much the centerpiece, that also gets credited for like inventing he invented a number of words, and he used words really wonderfully, obviously, but he gets credit for inventing probably more words than he actually did, because people were like, oh, it's in Shakespeare, so that's
right.
cited as the
and more phrases. You can easily debunk, that if you say that you're quoting Shakespeare, you say this, you're quoting Shakespeare. About half of them are written in other sources before Shakespeare. So they are Shakespeare, but you're also quoting different English versions of the Bible and Latin proverbs and Piers Plowman and things like that too.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. And of course, and there's so many Shakespeare things that then have become quotes from other people, like the games afoot for Sherlock Holmes.
That is a doornail.
Yeah.
And Dickens.
Mm-hmm.
And Dickens,
Yeah.
Don't forget Dickens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never will we ever.
Right. I mean, and even Shakespeare is what the Dickens, that's actually. So I think we still got a couple of minutes. When they had on a Doctor Who where they've had Doctor Who episodes where he meets Shakespeare, and which has an alternate explanation of the Dark Lady of the Sonnets being the Doctor's traveling companion at the time, Martha Jones.
Right.
There's always so many things. But there was also when he saw Dickens, who was played by Simon Callow in several episodes of that, and that his sort of expression instead of what the Dickens is, what the Shakespeare. So.
I think I saw Callow's one man Dickens show, I think. Yeah.
Well, he's done some amazing things. I saw his one-man Shakespeare show.
But I also saw Emily Williams do his Dickens reading his own works. He was brilliant in it. He was absolutely brilliant. And it's interesting that we, 1910 is the date for Dark Lady, and still had to wait another, 58 years, I think it was, before we actually had a national theater in Britain.
Yeah, and a lot of it was, I think a lot of the things in terms of, I don't know with England really how much of the history it was, but I know that it was like that with the Marshall Plan after World War II, when we gave money to sort of rebuild Germany, that they'd had national theaters. So, it went right back into the national theater. And I think that's one of the things that sort of set an example. I think like what Shaw talked about, it's like, well, they're not going to do it till everybody else does it.
Mm-hmm.
But as Americans, we still haven't really done it. But except for that brief shining moment of the Federal Theater Project.
Yeah.
Which was really.
Yeah, we kind of have to have like a national theater network where you could have stuff in every quadrant of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right. To be a true national theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to sort of like giving lip service in Washington, D.C. or New York. That's.
Yeah, this is a good theater fundraiser play if you're asking for money to put on an example of what you guys can do, as well as actually have a pitch built into the play.
That's a very good point. Yes.
I don't know if you all know that we had a rival company. I don't know if it really rivals, but they did it yesterday online, which was the same play.
Oh.
Theater 2020 did
you see it?
Did an online reading of it yesterday.
Oh.
I didn't know that was happening until after we already scheduled this one. So.
Did you see it, David?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I was busy with.
Could have compared. We're still recording. Gosh darn it.
It may be online still. I don't know for sure if they just did it as a one-shot deal with no, not leaving it online, or whether
Hmm.
But,
Yeah, well, because just as a reminder to everybody, we have all of our Zoom readings on YouTube on our Instant Shakespeare channel, which has a lot of readings on it now.
yeah, I'll say.
All right, it's 1:41 now, so I guess.
All right, I think we're ready to start the next one. This is Gilbert's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, which, as you gather, is a takeoff on Hamlet. There are 3 tableaus, but they're all in the palace at Elsinore. The first one, it's the interior of the King Claudius's palace. Claudius is discovered seated in a gloomy attitude with Queen Gertrude on a stool at his feet, consoling him.
Nay, be not sad, my lord.
Sad, loved queen? If mine effort to be the will I could annul the ever-present past, disperse the gaunt and gloomy ghosts of bygone deeds, or bind them with imperishable chains and caverns of the past incarcerate, then I could smile again, but not till then.
Oh, my dear lord, if aught there be that gives the soul unrest, tell it to me.
Well, loved and faithful wife, tender companion of my faltering life, yes, I can trust thee. Listen then to me. Many years since, when but a headstrong lad, I wrote a 5-act tragedy.
Indeed.
A play writ by a king.
And such a king.
Finds a ready market. It was read at once, but ere it was read, accepted. Then the press teamed a portentous import. Elsinore was duly placarded by willing hands. We know that walls have ears. I gave them tongues, and they were eloquent with promises.
Even the dead walls.
Aye, the deader they, the louder they proclaimed.
Oh, marvelous.
The day approached. All Denmark stood agape. Arrangements were devised at once by which seats might be booked a 12-month in advance. The first night came.
And did the play succeed?
In one sense, yes.
Oh, I was sure of it.
A farce was given to play the people in. My tragedy succeeded that. That's all.
And how long did it run?
About 10 minutes. Ere the first act had traced 1/2 its course, the curtain fell, never to rise again.
And did the people hiss?
No. Worse than that. They laughed. Sick with the shame that covered me, I knelt down, palsied in my private box, and prayed and hearsed and I prayed the hearsed and catacombs dead might quit their vaults and claim me for their own. It was not to be.
Oh, my good lord, the house was surely packed.
It was. By me. My favorite courtiers crowded every place. From floor to floor, the house was peopled by the sycophant crew. My tragedy was more than even sycophants could stand.
Was it, my lord, so very, very bad?
Not to deceive my trusting queen. It was.
And when the play failed, didst thou take no steps to set thyself right within the world?
I did. The acts were 5, though by 5 acts too long. I wrote an act by way of epilogue, and an act by which the penalty of death was meted out to all who sneered at it. The play was not good, but the punishment of those that laughed at it was capital.
Think on it no more, my lord. Now, mark me well. To cheer our son, whose solitary tastes and tendency to long soliloquy have much alarmed us, I, unknown to thee, have sent for Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
2 merry knaves kin to Polonius, who will devise such revels in our court, such antic schemes of harmless merriment, as shall abstract his meditative mind from sad employment. Claudius, who can tell but that they might divert my lord as well? Ah, they are here.
My homage to the queen.
In hot obedience to the royal hest, we have arrived, prepared to do our best.
We welcome you to court. Our chamberlain shall see that you are suitably disposed. Here is his daughter. She will hear your will and see that it receives fair countenance.
Ophelia!
Rosencrantz, Guildenstern. This meeting likes me much. We've not met since we were babies.
The queen has summoned us, and I have come in a half-hearted hope that I may claim once more my baby love.
Alas, I am betrothed.
Betrothed? To whom?
To Hamlet.
Oh, incomprehensible! Thou lovest Hamlet?
Nay, I said not so. I said we were betrothed.
And what's he like?
Alike for no 2 seasons at a time. Sometimes he's tall, sometimes he's very short. Now with black hair, now with a flaxen wig. Sometimes with an English accent, then a French, then English with a very strong provincial burr. Once an American and once a Jew, but Danish, never. Take him how you will. And strange to say, whate'er his tongue may be, whether he's dark or flaxen, English, French, though we're in Denmark, AD 1062, he always dresses as King James I.
Oh, he is surely mad.
Well, there again, opinion is divided. Some men hold that he's the sanest far of all sane men. Some that he's really sane, but shaming mad. Some that he's really mad, but shaming sane. Some that he will be mad. Some that he was. Some that he couldn't be. But on the whole, as far as I can make out what they mean, the favorite theory is somewhat like this. Hamlet is idiotically sane with lucid intervals of lunacy.
We must devise some plan to stop this match.
Say, many years ago, King Claudius was guilty of a 5-act tragedy. The play was damned, and none may mention it under the pain of death. We might contrive to make him play this piece before the king and take the consequence.
Impossible, for every copy was destroyed.
But one, my father's.
Huh?
In his capacity as our Lord Chamberlain, he has 1 copy. I, this night, when all the court is drowned in sleep, will creep with stealthy foot into his den and there abstract the precious manuscript.
The plan is well conceived, but take good heed. Your father may detect you.
Oh dear, no. My father spends his long official days in reading all the rubbishing new plays. From 10 to 4 at work he may be found, and then my father sleeps exceeding sound.
Second tableau.
Have you as yet planned aught that may relieve our poor afflicted son's despondency?
Madam, we've lost no time. Already we are getting up some court theatricals in which the prince will play a leading part.
That's well bethought. It will divert his mind. But soft, he comes.
How gloomily he stalks, as one all whelmed with weight of anxious care. He thrusts his hand into his bosom, thus, starts, looks around, then, as if reassured, rumples his hair and rolls his glassy eyes.
That means he's going to soliloquize. Prevent this gentleman by any means.
We will, but how?
Anticipate his points and follow out his argument for him. Thus you will cut the ground from beneath his feet and leave him naught to say.
We will.
We will.
Ah, mother's blessing be upon you, sirs.
To be or not to be?
Yes, that's the question. Whether he's bravest who will cut his throat rather than suffer all.
Or suffer all rather than cut his throat?
Go away. Go away. To die. To sleep.
It's nothing more. Death is but sleep spun out. Why hesitate? This dagger.
Between the choice of deaths, which death to choose? This revolver?
Do take those dreadful things away. They make my blood run cold. Go away. Go away. To sleep, perchance, to...
Dream, that's very true. I never dream myself, but Guildenstern dreams all night long, out loud.
With blushes, sir, I do confess it true.
This question, gentlemen, concerns me not. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time?
Who'd bear the whips and scorns? Now let me see. Who'd bear them?
Who'd bear the scorns of time?
The whips and scorns.
The whips and scorns, of course. Don't tell us, let us guess. The whips of time?
Oh, sirs, this interruption likes us not. I pray you, give it up.
My lord, we do. We cannot tell who bears these whips and scorns.
But that the dread of something after death.
Now that's true. Post mortem and the coroner. Fellow de se, crossroads at 12 p.m. and then the fortified life policy, exceedingly unpleasant.
Gentlemen, it must be patent to the merest dunce. 3 persons cannot soliloquize at once. They're playing upon me, who am not fashioned to be played upon. Show them a pipe, a thing of holes and stops, meant to be played upon, and they'll shrink abashed and swear they have not skill in that. Now mark. Rosencrantz, here. This is a well-toned flute. Pray me play an air upon it. Do not say you know not how.
Hey, but I do know how. I'm rather good upon the flute. Observe. Oh, thank you.
Everything goes wrong.
Rosencrantz,
Well,
I found the manuscript, but never put me to such work again.
why? What has happened that you tremble so?
Last night, when I stole down from my room alone and sought my father's den, I entered it. The clock struck 12, and then, oh, horrible! From chest and cabinet there issued forth the moldy specters of 5,000 plays, all dead and gone, and many of them damned. I shook with horror. They encompassed me, chattering forth the scenes and parts of scenes which my poor father wisely had cut out. Oh, horrible. 'Twas most horrible.
What must they utter?
I decline to say. The more I heard, the more convinced was I my father acted most judiciously. Let that suffice thee.
Give me then the play, and I'll submit it to the prince.
But stay, do not appear to urge him. Hold him back, or he'll decline to play the piece. I know him.
And lose the name of action. Why, what's that?
We have been looking through some dozen plays to find one suited to our company. This is, my lord, a 5-act tragedy. 'Tis called Gonzago, but it will not serve. 'Tis very long.
Is there a part for me?
There is, my lord, a most important part. A mad archbishop who becomes a Jew to spite his DOS.
Ooh, that's very good.
Now, here you go mad, and then soliloquize. Here you are sane again, and then you don't. Then later on, you stab your aunt because, well, I can't tell you why you stab your aunt, but still, you stab her.
Well, that's quite enough.
And then you become the leader of a troop of Greek banditti and soliloquize after a long and undisturbed career of murder, tempered by soliloquy. You see the sin and folly of your ways and offer to resume your diocese. But just too late, for terrible to tell, as you're repenting in soliloquy, the bench of bishops seize you unawares and blow you from a gun.
Oh, well, that's excellent. That's very good indeed. We'll play this piece.
But pray consider, all the other parts are insignificant.
What matters that? We'll play this piece.
That's impossible. And all the dialogue, bombastic stuff.
I tell you that we will play this piece. Bestir yourselves about it and engage all the most fairly famed tragedians to play the small parts, as tragedians should. A mad archbishop. That's very good.
Third tableau. March. Enter a procession. First 2 pages, who place themselves on each side of the platform, then Rosencrantz and Ophelia, then Guildenstern and a lady, then other courtiers, then Polonius backing before the king and queen. The king sits with the queen on his left, Ophelia on his right, Rosencrantz stands above her, Guildenstern and Polonius behind the king and queen, the courtiers right and left.
A fair good morrow to you, Rosencrantz. How march the royal revels?
Lamely, madam, lamely, like a one-legged duck. The prince has discovered a strange play. He hath called it a right reckoning long delayed.
And of what fashion is the prince's play?
It is an excellent poor tragedy, my lord, a thing of shreds and patches, welded into a form that hath mass without consistency, like an ill-built villa.
But, sir, you should have used your best endeavors to wean his fantasy from such a play.
Madam, I did, and with some success, for he now seeth the absurdity of its tragical catastrophes and laughs at it as freely as we do. So, albeit the poor author had hoped to have drawn tears of sympathy, the prince has resolved to present it as a piece of pompous folly intended to excite no loftier emotions than laughter and surprise. Here comes the royal tragedian with his troupe.
Good morrow, sir. This is our company of players. They have come to down to do you honor and to add completeness to our revels.
Good sirs, we welcome you to Elsinore. Prepare ye now, we are agog to taste the intellectual treat in store for us.
We are ready, sir. But before we begin, I would speak a word to you who are about to play this piece. I have chosen this play in the face of sturdy opposition from my well-esteemed friends who were for playing a piece with less bombastic fury and more frolic. But I have thought this a fit play to be presented by reason of that very pedantical bombast and windy, obtrusive rhetoric that they do rightly despise. For I hold that there is no such antic fellow as your bombastical hero, who doth so earnestly spout forth his folly as to make his hearers believe that he is unconscious of all incongruity. Whereas he who doth so mark, label, and underscore his antic speeches as to show that he is alive to their absurdity, seemeth to utter them under protest and to take part with his audience against himself. For which reason, I pray you, let there be no huge red noses, nor extravagant monstrous wigs, nor coarse men garbed as women in this comic tragedy. For such things are as much to say, I am the comic fellow. I pray you laugh at me and hold what I say to be clever and ridiculous. Such labeling of humor is an impertinence to your audience, for it seemeth to imply that they are unable to recognize a joke unless it be pointed out to them. I pray you avoid it.
Sir, we are beholden to you for your good counsels, but we would urge upon your consideration that we are accomplished players who have spent many years in learning our profession, and we would venture to suggest that it would better befit your lordship to confine yourself to such matters as your lordship may be likely to understand. We, on our part, may have our own ideas as to the duties of heirs apparent, but it would ill become us then, before your lordship, who may be reasonably supposed to understand such matters more perfectly than your very humble servants.
Come, let us take our places. Gather round that all may see this fooling. Here's a chair in which I shall find a room to roll about when laughter takes possession of my soul. Now, we are ready.
Enter on platform a loving couple. I think that's you, Kristina.
Oh, sorry. Shouldst thou prove faithless,
If I do,
then
if I do, then let the world forget to woo. In mountain tops bow down in fears, the midday sun dissolve in tears, and outraged nature pale and bent, for prostrate in bewilderment.
Truly, sir, I hope he will prove faithful, lest we should all be involved in this catastrophe.
Much indeed depends upon his constancy. I'm sure he hath all our prayers, gentlemen. Is this play well known?
It is not, my lord.
Ha! I seem to have met with these lines before. Go on.
hark, dost thou hear those trumpets and those drums? Thy hated rival, stern Gonzago, comes. And wherefore cometh Gonzago?
He cometh here to woo.
Cannot he woo without an orchestra at his elbow? A fico for such wooing, say.
Who is Gonzago?
He's a mad Archbishop of Elsinore. He's a most ridiculous and mirthful character, and the more so for that the poor author had hoped to have appalled you with his tragical end.
Far from the cares of church and state, I come to wreck my love and hate. Love whirls me to the lofty skies. Hate drags me where dark Pluto lies.
Harry, but he must have a nice time of it in between them. Oh, sir, this passeth the bounds of ridicule, and to think that these lines were to have drawn our tears.
Truly, mine eyes run with tears, but they are begotten of laughter.
Gently, gently, spare your ridicule. Yes, you have none left for the latter scenes. The tragedy is full of such windy fooling. You shall hear more anon. There are 5 acts of this.
Oh.
For 2 great ends I daily fume, the altar and the deadly tomb. How can I live in such a state and hold my archepiscopate?
Oh, my lord, I pray you end this, or I shall die with laughter.
Did mortal ever hear such metrical folly? Stop it! My good lord, or I shall assuredly do myself some injury.
Oh, sir, prithee have mercy on us. We have laughed till we can laugh no more.
The drollest scene is coming now. Listen.
Stop! Stop, I say, cast off those mummeries. Come hither, Hamlet.
Why, what ails you, sir?
Knowst thou who wrote this play?
Not I indeed, nor do I care to know.
I wrote this play. To mention it is death by Denmark's law.
Oh, spare him, for he is thine only child.
No, I have 2. My son, my blade, both worthless. Both shall together perish.
Oh, hold thy hand. I can't bear death. I'm a philosopher.
Yeah, that's true. But how shall we dispose of him?
I thought there's a certain isle beyond the sea where dwell a cultured race, compared with whom we are but poor, brain-blind barbarians. 'Tis known as England. Oh, send him there. If but the half I've heard of them to be true, they will enshrine him on their great good hearts, and men will rise or sink in good esteem according as they worship him or slight him.
Well, we're dull dogs in Denmark. It may be that we've misjudged him. If such race there be, there may be, I'm not a well-read man, they're welcome to his philosophic brain. So, Hamlet, get thee gone, and don't come back again.
Claudius crosses to Hamlet to right. Hamlet, who is delighted with the suggestion, crosses to the queen and embraces her. He then embraces Ophelia, who receives his kiss with marked coldness. Then he turns up to the platform and strikes an attitude, exclaiming,
To England.
and at the same time, Rosencrantz embraces Ophelia. Picture. The end. Thank you, everyone, for this piece of absolute silliness.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you.
That was
Yeah.
really cute.
Yes, and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are still alive at the
I'm
end
still
of it.
alive.
Yes.
I'm not.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are not dead.
Um, yeah, Gilbert himself played
Yeah.
in this. I think he played Claudius. I'm not sure.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
I
It's
believe
another
that.
level. Yeah. He wanted to be a serious tragedian, but everybody laughed, so he moved to musical comedy.
Yeah.
Submit it like to 5 theaters. It's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An
Cute.
amazing story.
Yeah.
As the daughter of
Oh.
a playwright, I really loved that story.
Thanks, everybody. Next week, we do something completely different. Most of us. Bill, I'm not sure about next weekend yet. I have to find out if Stephen's available and then go from there.
Yeah, so this was a lot of fun. Yes, it's a The Good-Natured Man by Oliver Goldsmith next week.
Yeah.
And, on the
Very-
20th and on the 19th, we will be in the Yorkville branch for a live reading of Julius Caesar. And on this Tuesday, the Ides of March, we will have a Zoom reading of Julius Caesar. Because, hey, I mean, can't get too much Julius Caesar, right? Or maybe you can, or maybe, you know, it's like, okay, so this play from like 400 years ago about a tyrant who was killed like another like 1600 years before that. How could that still have contemporary relevance today? You know, there's still people who are trying to conquer the world. So yeah, we still,
Yeah. You're right.
still has a lot of relevance today. But this was delightful. Thank you so much, David, and thank you all for participating. This was great.
And who's the new cast member? Who's that?
This is Wally. He's very needy.
Well,
Ollie! I saw he made a cameo appearance.
He was really trying the whole time to jump in my lap.
I didn't.
I think he needs to go pee is what needs to happen. He's probably peed somewhere in here while this happens.
Oh, he's so sweet.
Oh yeah, he's a good boy. He won't eat any of his kibble, and so I have to make meals for the both of us so we can share.
Nice.
Hey, tiny.
Aw.
Yeah, we'll let him tinkle. Anyway.
This is how